The autumn breeze tugged at the American flags lining Arlington National Cemetery, their soft rustle the only sound as the crowd fell silent. An officer's voice cut through the stillness. "The changing of the guard will now commence. Please remain quiet and stand in respect for the fallen soldiers we honor today." Tourists and onlookers craned their necks, cameras poised, waiting for the solemn ritual at the tomb of the unknown soldier to begin. The ceremony was a meticulous dance, every step a tribute to America's unnamed heroes, soldiers lost to war, their identities buried with them. The tomb stood as their monument, and the sentinels who guarded it bore a duty heavier than most. That day, the sentinel on watch was Martin, a young soldier with an immaculate uniform, buttons gleaming, creases sharp. To him, this wasn't just a post. It was a vow, forged in the shadow of a father who never came home. Relief. Commander Alex emerged from the Memorial Amphitheater Plaza, flanked by the new sentinel. A seasoned officer, Alex moved with precision, his boots tapping the stone in measured beats. The crowd watched as he approached Martin, ready to inspect the rifle and pass the duty onward. It was a ritual of exactness. 21 steps, a turn, 21 seconds facing the tomb, echoing the 21-gun salute, the highest military honor. Nothing ever went wrong, until it did. Alex's gloved hands gripped Martin's rifle, running down the barrel with practiced care. The air was taut, the onlookers hushed. Then, a scream ripped through the silence, a little girl's voice, high and piercing. Alex jolted, his grip faltered, the rifle slipped, tilting wildly. It fell. Martin saw the bayonet flash, too late. Pain tore through his foot, white-hot and blinding, as the blade pierced his boot. Blood welled, staining the polished leather crimson. His breath hitched, vision blurring, but he locked his knees. He wouldn't fall. Not here. Alex froze, eyes wide with horror. "Martin, I'm sorry. I didn't," he whispered, voice cracking. "Finish it, sir," Martin gritted out, jaw tight. "I'll stand." The crowd gasped, some fumbling with their phones. Alex hesitated, then straightened, resuming the ceremony with trembling hands. The new sentinel took position, pacing the mat. 21 steps, turn, 21 seconds. Martin stood rigid, blood seeping beneath him, his face a mask of resolve. The pain was a fire, but it wasn't new. It echoed an older ache, one carved into him years ago. As a boy, Martin had known a different kind of loss. At 6, he'd stood in his living room, mop of brown hair falling into tear-streaked eyes, as his father knelt before him. A reservist in a crisp uniform, his dad had cupped Martin's face, thumbs wiping away tears. "I'll be back before you know it, kiddo," he'd said, voice steady despite trembling fingers. "We'll go fishing again. Just take care of Mom, okay?" That promise lingered as his father waved from the airport. A final goodbye before war swallowed him whole. Letters came at first, full of love and reassurances. Then they stopped. Weeks bled into months. On his father's birthday, Martin and his mother lit candles, clinging to fragile hope, until a knock shattered it. 2 figures stood at the door, an officer and a chaplain. His mother crumpled as the officer spoke of a bombing, of soldiers lost, their bodies unidentifiable. "Missing in action," they called it. Martin refused to believe it. His dad had promised. He never broke promises. Years passed, hope fading like an old photograph. At 21, Martin found a new purpose. He'd serve as his father had, guarding the tomb for those who, like his dad, were lost but never forgotten. Now, with the bayonet sting ripping through him, that vow held him upright. The pain wasn't just in his foot. It was his father's absence, sharp and raw. He wouldn't let it win. Alex too bore a wound that day. His daughter, Lily, lay in a coma, struck during a school bus crash weeks earlier. A truck had veered into their path. The driver swerved, saving most, but dying himself. Lily, in the front seat, took the worst of it. Alex had begged to return to duty, the tomb's discipline his only anchor. But when that girl screamed, so like Lily's voice, fear flooded back. Would she wake? Would she walk? His lapse had cost Martin, and shame gnawed at him. The ceremony ended. Medics rushed Martin off as the crowd buzzed, a tourist video already spreading online. By nightfall, it was viral, millions stunned not by the dropped rifle, but by the sentinel who stood through agony. Unwavering, they called him. News vans swarmed Arlington, clamoring for interviews. Martin, in a hospital bed, faced a grimmer reality. X-rays showed the bayonet had grazed nerves. Infection loomed. His career as a sentinel hung in the balance. Days turned to weeks. Reporters camped outside, but Martin battled within. Physical therapy, a daily war against pain and doubt. Each step was a defiance, fueled by his father's memory. He wouldn't surrender this post, this promise. General Thompson watched closely, seeing in Martin a rare grit. Despite the injury, he awarded him the Tomb Sentinel badge, a mark of honor few earned. Alex found his own redemption. One evening, his phone rang. Lily was awake. He raced to her bedside, tears falling as she squeezed his hand, her voice a faint whisper. "Dad, that soldier on the news? You were there?" He smiled, the weight lifting. His duty at the tomb mattered, but nothing outshone this. His daughter, alive, fighting back like Martin. Months later, Martin returned to the tomb, limping slightly but whole. The crowd cheered as he took his post, but he waved off the praise. "It's not about me," he said quietly to a reporter. "It's about them, the ones who didn't come back." His humility only deepened the awe. The viral video became a training staple, a lesson in composure and devotion. Martin, once a boy waiting for a father who never returned, now stood as a symbol, a sentinel for a nation, guarding the unknown with a strength born of loss.